This is probably the most requested video because the question I get asked most is how many basses do you have? Well, today I'm going to show you the whole collection. If you're new here, my name is Ellen. Let's roll into the intro. This video is sponsored by Guitar Center. The links for most of these basses will be in the description down below, so if you decide to buy one of these basses, if you use my link, it will help support my channel. Thank you, Guitar Center, for sponsoring this video. So I'm gonna start from the beginning and try to remember the chronological order. So the first one is my first bass. My dad gave it to me when I was 8 years old. It's actually a little bit shorter than a regular short scale. It's 28 inches, and it's very affordable, and it's a great start for kids and for those who have small hands. This is my second bass. It's a Sterling Stingray by Music Man. It's a short scale, and my dad got this for me when he realized I was getting a little bit more serious about bass playing. As you can see, there's a custom pickguard, control plate, and a headstock plate, all from our friends over at Alperius Pickguards. This is my third bass. It's also my first P bass. The company's name is Byte Bass, and they're based in Austria. Also, this wasn't always there. I got really hungry and bit the headstock. But besides that, it's a really comfortable and good sounding bass. It's very loud sounding, and it's also a short scale. Yeah. This is my second P bass, and fun fact, it was actually built by a real doctor who also builds guitars. His name is Mike Aronson, and he became a really good friend of our family. I actually have a separate video on this bass and how my dad surprised me with it, so if you want to check that out, it'll be in the description. Moving on. This is my first and my only fretless bass. My dad bought it for me on my 10th birthday, and the best part about it, besides it being a very beautiful bass, is that it was built in Armenia by one of the best luthiers, Armenian, and it's obviously not a short scale. It has 3 octaves. It can actually go higher than that, probably, and it has a very special place in my heart. I received this bass when I first started endorsing Mayones, and my dad has been a Mayones artist for a long time, so when they asked me to become their artist, it was a no-brainer. This is the Mayones Commodus short scale custom shop, and fun fact about the bass is that the backwards Ellen right here was on accident, actually. When my dad was sending the design, he forgot to flip it, and he sent it like that to Mayones, and they thought it was on purpose, so this bass is just flipped now. The best part about all my Mayones basses is that they have the headphone outputs on all of them, which is really useful for practicing. They usually come in black pickups and knobs, but we thought it would look nicer with the white pickups and knobs, and I honestly think it looks better. This is my second Mayones Commodus bass, and the only difference is the preamp and the pickups, which the pickups is Music Man style and jazz bass style, and obviously how it's purple, and the Ellen on this one is actually corrected. It's corrected this time, and that's basically the only difference. This one also has the headphones, and yeah, this one has a lock on the cable thing. Yeah, that's basically it. So this is my biggest bass, and surprisingly for a big bass, it has all 24 frets. It's tuned an octave higher actually, but it's kind of like a guitar, but it still sounds like a bass. And a really, really cool fact about this is that it's made from spare leftover parts of other basses, and it's recycled. It's like a recycled bass, which is really cool. It's very lightweight, and it's a good travel bass. So this is my smallest bass. It's the Mayones Ori, which comes from the Japanese word origami. It's a multi-scale bass, which means the frets are angled, also known as fan fret. It's a 5-string bass, and the reason why the frets are angled is so that the lower strings have a longer scale, so it sounds tighter. This is the oldest bass in my collection, and it's a 1979 Guild, and it's probably the most unique sounding bass I own. This was sent to me by a fan whose name is Mark, and he was a bass player. And after he retired, he decided to send me his bass. A really cool fact is that he was one of the engineers on the James Webb Telescope, which is in space right now. Okay, so technically speaking, this isn't actually my bass, but it is the first bass that I actually played. This was my dad's bass for a while, I'm pretty sure, and I think this is the reason I started bass. There's a whole story almost in every Q&A that I've actually talked in, but this is the very first bass I played, so it deserved to be in the video. There's not much to say about the bass. It's a Music Man Stingray, a 5-string Music Man Stingray. A cool fact is that Billy Sheehan actually used this bass to record a couple of the songs on my dad's album. Check it out. So these are my two Hufners. This one's the Ignition model that was sent to me by Hufner for my very first Beatle cover, Penny Lane. This one's the Contemporary model. It was sent for a review video. Now I have two Hufners, and I only use them for Beatle covers. And that's basically it. This is my Sadowski custom shop bass that was specifically built for me by Roger Sadowski in New York City. He started building the bass during COVID, so we went back and forth choosing the right wood, the right color, the pickups, the hardware, and it took him almost a year to finish it. He's such a kind person that he offered us a huge discount for the bass, and even sent an old New York subway coin, which is really cool. Thank you, Roger. I love this bass. This was sent to me by Mark Bass, and if you didn't know already, I'm endorsing Mark Bass amps, as you can see in the background. This is a JP model, which means it's a P bass body and a jazz bass neck and pickups. It also has a really narrow neck, which is really comfortable. This is my Fender Geddy Lee signature jazz bass, and it was given to me by a fan, and it was actually a really cool surprise because he invited me and my dad over to his house in Las Vegas. And when we went into the house, he opened up the case and he basically told me it was for me. It doesn't sound like your typical jazz bass, which is cool because it's a Geddy Lee model and it sounds like a Geddy Lee jazz bass. I'm actually planning on using this bass for an upcoming Rush cover, so stay tuned for that. This is my Fender Made in Japan Deluxe P bass, and it was sent to me by a fan, but to be honest, I've never played it, so I can't give you much information. But I'm honored to have received it, and I'm happily keeping it in my collection. So this is my signature bass. It's probably the most interesting bass probably in this collection, and it has, as you can see, already a lot of signatures, and I'm gonna name them. So this one's Henrik Linder, Tony Levin, Stu Ham, Jerry Sheff, Jason Sheff, Joe Dart, Victor Wooten, and Tal. Those are all the signatures so far, and we're still collecting more, so we'll keep you updated on that. This is another really cool short scale bass in my collection, and it's made by Nordstrand, and the model name is Asanonix. The EQ and the pickup selectors are a really cool radio style. It's like really cool, and this bass has flat wounds on it. I used this bass to play the James Jamerson cover, which will be in the description down below, so make sure to check that out. This is my Gibson Les Paul Jr. bass, and it was sent to me by the CEO of Gibson, Cesar Guekian, and he's also Armenian. This is a short scale bass, and it sounds really good. It's a really good sounding bass, but the only downside is that it's really heavy and it's kind of uncomfortable to play seated. But other than that, it's a really great sounding bass, and thank you, Cesar, for sending me this bass. This bass is really special for me because it was made in Ukraine specifically for me during the war, and by the Ukrainian company Valiant guitars. And what's even more special about it is that the bass was painted by a famous Ukrainian artist named Roman Minin. It's a mini bass, it's 25 inches, and despite it being so small, it sounds really huge. Let me show you the back of it. And then the front. Very special bass. This is another short scale bass from Valiant guitars, and it's the Jupiter model. When I went to NAMM last year and we went to the Valiant guitars booth, they surprised me with this bass, so this is one of my more newer basses. And what's cool about Valiant instruments is that they make their own hardware, their own pickups, their own electronics, and it's all made in-house, and it's all very, very high quality. So thank you, Valiant Guitars, for sending me these basses. This is my Kala U bass, and it's a mini ukulele bass. So it's basically an acoustic bass, but it can also be plugged in. Kala gave this to me for my one of my top 10 videos, and I used it to play the Pink Panther theme. And fun fact, that's actually the most viewed video we have on my channel. It has almost 5 million views. So that was fun. Thank you, Kala, for this ukulele bass. This is another bass from Mark Bass, and they recently released a new, more affordable lineup, which is under $300. So this bass is from that lineup, and recently I did a video with reviewing 3 of those basses, and I gave the other 2 away, and I decided to keep this one. So in case you want to check that out, it's in the description down below. So this is the only P-Bass 5-string that I own, and recently I got it from a friend who says, it's a funny story because he says that it's from it used to belong to a famous person, but he forgot who, but he decided to give it to me, and other than just a 5-string P-Bass, that's all I know about it. So moving on to the last one. This is the Schecter Ripper 4 bass, and it's the newest bass from Schecter. Guitar Center sent it to me for a review video, and we literally shot that video yesterday, so I don't know which one's gonna come out first, that one or this one. It has active electronics, and it has a Music Man pickup and a P-Bass pickup, and I really like the texture of the wood. Look at this. So thank you, Guitar Center, for sending me this bass and for sponsoring this video. Once again, I will have the links for some of those basses in the description down below, and if you use those links, it'll help support my channel. I also want to thank everyone supporting me on Patreon, YouTube, and Facebook. I really appreciate your support. And if you enjoyed today's video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!